Hello and welcome to this lesson. If you've just been thrust into some home learning via Zoom or Google Meet and you're trying to do some PE lessons, then maybe these 5 ideas might help out. They're very simple. They're made with primary school students in mind. You could try them with the secondary lot, but they are made predominantly for the primary. We'll get straight into it, and the first one is our spin the wheel. So, as you can see there are 2 different sets so you can go to this website, pickrandom.com, and then select the random wheel, and you'll end up with this site here. Now, over on the right, you can see that there are 2 different sets, or 3 sets if you really want to. I've just filled these out with some pretty bog standard moves, but how you can engage your students more is by asking them to suggest some activities. Now, they might come up with some pretty standard ones like running on the spot or star jumps. Over time, you can teach them new ones, and then you can fill that set number 1 in and then hit update, and then it will turn the wheel into whatever you've written in there. In set 2, you can then write in the intensity or the reps or the seconds or whatever it is that you want to do. And then if you really wanted to, perhaps come up with different teams. So you could label them 1s and 2s or reds and blues or whatever it might be, so that when you do spin the wheel, it will start off. It will then select the activity that everyone will be doing very shortly. And then once you've got the activity, you can then select the intensity. So that one there, it's saying it's a jog. And then you spin it again, and it will then tell you the time or the repetitions that they will then be doing. Not meant to last a whole session, but perhaps a 5 or 10 minute warm-up activity just to give them a little bit of control and input into what they're doing. Second one is rock, paper, scissors. Again, a very quick and simple game which you can do with your children, but what you can do is sort of build in some gymnastics, balances and shapes into this as well. As you can see down there at the bottom, we've used rock, paper, scissors as rock, tuck, paper, pike, and scissors, straddle. The children, they make a shape. You give them 3 seconds to do so, and then you show your hand up to the screen, and if the child beats you, they get a point. If you beat them, they lose a point, and if it's a tie, they stay on 0. So it does require a little bit of trust, but they can always put their score into the chat box just to get that engagement there as well. And then if you do see someone doing it really well, you can always spotlight or highlight a student, and then they can be the one doing the hand rock, paper, scissors, and everyone else gets involved and tries to beat them. Third game we have is Connect 4. You might not be able to see the different writings and numbers on that board, but what it is fitness activities with a certain number. Now, to play Connect 4, the aim is to get 4 of the same coloured counters in a row, but they need to be, how can we say it, respectful of gravity. So imagine it is a real life game. Then all you would have to do is share your screen and then copy and then paste one of the tokens, and wherever a team would like to put their counter, they would first all have to complete that exercise. So let's say the red team wanted to go there. Underneath that box is 5 lunges, so they would all have to complete 5 lunges before you put that counter onto the screen. It then goes over to the yellow team. You nominate a speaker, they pick where they want to go, and then the process repeats until eventually you might have a winner. And if you wanted to, you could have a forfeit involved, but we don't really want to use exercise as punishment, but that's again completely at your discretion. Our next game is in a similar vein. It's noughts and crosses or tic-tac-toe. Again, you just create the grid, the 3x3 grid. You can fill in the activities that the team needs to complete in order to put their counter in that space. And you might decide to put some more challenging ones in the middle if that's going to be the more popular place to go. But again, it's up to you. What I will do is leave a link to this Google slide so you can use these as a base to start from. And then if you did want to tweak them to match your students and their levels, then you can do that as well. But just a simple Control-C, Control-V, and then you can start to share your screen and you can play noughts and crosses with the class. The last one is probably meant for even younger ones, perhaps year 1s and 2s, maybe even FS, but it's the Scavenger Hunt. And what you can do here is call out a description of an item. It could be quite vague, like a colour, or it could be something quite specific, such as your homework book or whatever it might be. Another layer to that is you can then decide that the first letter of each item they collect spells out some sort of anagram, which at the end they need to try and unjumble, and it could be a health-related word, it could be a school-related word, it could be absolutely anything, up to you, but just a layer into that to get them thinking rather than just moving aimlessly. So they are 5 ideas which you could use. Like I said, ideally for the primary age, but you might be able to adapt the fitness-based ones for the older students as well. But there we go. So I hope you found it useful. If you did, hit that like button and obviously share the video with people that you think might get something from it as well. But I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye for now.